Now VR has been the next big thing for the last 3 years, but we have a problem because essentially it's still expendable. If we took VR away from our lives right now, we'd actually complain a little, but to be fair, we'd carry on. So one of the biggest problems is that we've been measuring it with an inefficient system. See, we've been talking about numbers of downloads and eyeballs on that content, when really VR is such a monumental shift in the way that we view and experience digital content that we need to educate that audience. And what better way to do that than through education? Because we constantly assess and measure that through the whole system, and we have a result at the end of it, and we understand how much people have actually taken on board. So let's use education because it's the real test and measure of success. Now, the key mission for VR in education has to be to inspire. If we keep giving experiences where it's unattainable, then I think we've failed. What we need to do is make sure that the kids have that incredible energy and enthusiasm and take it out into the real world, where they are essentially the future. They will deliver on that promise. Now, VR is not the future of film, it's not the future of gaming, and it's not the future of education. It is a future. And to succeed, VR needs to coexist with all of our existing platforms, not replace them. Now, if you have any takeaways from this, I would look at educational 3 I's. Now, the first I is information. So it's key that we equip our audience with the information and the reason to be in VR in the first place. Now, when we're there, it's the inspiration. That's where the magic happens and the reason that we're doing this in the first place. But actually more important than any of that is implementation. So you have a reason, once you've been in VR, to continue with that journey, that exploration. And for education, that is so important, that VR is at the center, but all of the things that we currently do sit around it. Now, the statistics tell the story. So 10% of what we read, we retain, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, and 50% of what we see and hear combined, and 70% of what we discuss with other people. But the telling statistic is 80% of what we personally experience, and that is something that only VR can deliver.